Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about the Sissy Squat and how to build strength and flexibility for it. Welcome back to another video guys. Today I'm going to be covering the Sissy Squat, which is a popular exercise on Instagram and other social media platforms. It's an exercise that people are using to help strengthen the connective tissues in their knees. They're also using it to help increase the strength and flexibility of their hip flexor muscles and also build stronger, bigger quads. So there are a few things to note if you're someone that wants to learn how to do this exercise. One of them is you do need adequate big toe extension. The reason being is this toe needs to be able to go into extension in order to go down onto it and perform the Sissy Squat. You can actually see if I demonstrate from the side here, you can see how much big toe extension is needed. Okay, so that's something that you will want to work on if you're extremely limited in that range of motion. You're also going to need healthy knees. Although there's a lot of people online using this exercise to strengthen your knees, which it can do, that is if your knees are already healthy. If your knees are unhealthy and you're in any sort of pain and you have any kind of mobility restrictions in the knees, then this exercise maybe isn't the best choice for you. So another thing that you need is adequate knee flexion. If you've got knee pain or your knee flexion is limited, then this exercise may not be a good choice for you because this exercise is not designed to increase range of motion in your knees. You need joint specific exercises for that. So there are various types of Sissy squats. There's a freestanding type and there's a supported type. Which one you should be doing depends on your goals. In the past, I've made a video on the freestanding Sissy squat and I've put all the progressions for this exercise. So if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to do this movement, then you can see that video, I'll link it here. Then there's the original version of the Sissy squat, which is using support, which I haven't made a video on before, but I'm going to demonstrate how to do that exercise here as well. And I'm going to tell you which one I think is best and which one you should be using in your training. So the freestanding Sissy squat is the one that's really popular online at the moment. And this is the one that you see most athletes and top level coaches doing. There are a few problems with this variation. Whilst it does look very cool and it makes a good Instagram post, I see this as more of a movement and a skill as opposed to an exercise to help you build strength and flexibility. The reason I think this is because the entry level to this exercise or this movement, this skill, is so high. It requires a lot of, first of all, of course, a lot of range of motion, but it requires a lot of balance just to be able to perform it. And for that reason alone, it's very hard to control things like tempo and add weight to the exercise. So this may not be the best variation if you're someone that is looking for a leg extension exercise to help strengthen your quads. If you're someone that wants to learn this skill because it's a cool movement, then by all means choose this variation. But I'm going to be focusing on the original variation of the Sissy Squat, which is the old school Sissy Squat, which is the assisted variation, which was actually originally called the Monty Walford Squat. And this was because it was named after the guy who invented it, Monty. And the name Sissy actually came from a statement that Monty made saying that the Sissy Squat will make a sissy out of lifters who only train the back squat. So the reason I prefer to use the original variation of the Sissy Squat, and this is probably the reason that it was so popular back in the 50s and 60s and all the old school bodybuilders were using it, is because it is assisted versus the freestanding one. With the assisted variation, you can control the tempo and the entry level is much lower. So someone that doesn't have the balance to perform the freestanding one can just come straight in with the support and still work their leg extension and build bigger, stronger quads. You can also add weight to this variation, which is another plus for using the old school variation. So now I'm going to teach you how to perform the original Sissy Squat the way they used to do it back in the day. So you want to hold on to a squat rack or some sort of support just with one arm. And we're just going to hold that at about waist height. Don't worry too much about the foot stance, just find something that is comfortable for you. We're going to start by going up onto our toes, and that's that big toe extension that we were on about. Make sure that you're going up onto the ball of your feet and you're not going out to the side or coming inwards like this. So straight up into big toe extension, stay on the balls of your feet. From here, you want to try and keep your hips extended. Okay, so we're working knee extension and flexion with the hips extended. From here, we're just going to move our knees forward, so the knees are coming down towards the ground. We're kind of leaning back and we're using this for support. And we're going down as low as we can okay, to our end range of motion, which if that's to the floor, that's good. And then from here, we're going to drive into the ground as if we're doing a leg extension, like the same on the machine, okay, extending through the quads, through the hip flexors, and driving back up into that start position. You can come back down, or if you're comfortable with the balance, you can stay up on the balls of your feet throughout the whole movement if you're quite comfortable with these. So if this is your first time doing this exercise, I'm not expecting anybody to be able to do full range of motion all the way down and all the way back up. So you're going to work within your range of motion and strengthen what you already have. And to do this, you can use things like yoga blocks. So you can just sit them out in front of you, and then you're just going to work with your current range of motion. So you can see now, I've got the yoga blocks. I'm just going to sissy squat down to those, let my knees touch them, and drive back up, okay? And you can set that to any level. Even if you're kind of here, you can still practice the movement and just adjust the height of the yoga blocks. Once you feel comfortable hitting that, you can kind of make them even lower and just work your way down, okay? So you're just increasing your range of motion gradually throughout the weeks until eventually you're getting the full range of motion on those sissy squats. Another thing that you can do is, a lot of people, you know, they have the strength to control it down because we're stronger eccentrically than we are concentrically on the way up. So if you're having a problem getting back up, then you can focus just on those eccentric reps to start building strength, because that's a good way to load the muscle up. So set it to where you are, your current range of motion. We're just going to control that down to the block, nice and slow, nice and controlled, like for a 3-second count. And you can come out of there and back up, just focusing on those eccentric reps. Okay, so another reason that I now prefer using this old school original variation of the sissy squat is because you can load it up and you can do this quite safely without losing that balance. You can still use your other hand to support yourself, okay? So we're still assisted. Now we've loaded it up. We're doing the exact same as before, but now we've got that additional load in our hip flexors, so we can really load that tissue up and make it stronger. Still controlling the rep range and the tempo. Okay, so another thing to note is if you really want to learn how to do the freestanding variation, because it's a super cool skill and trick to do, then this that I've just showed you, this assisted variations, all the progressions are a really good starting point, because if you build strength here, okay, you know that you have the flexibility, you know that you have the strength to perform the exercise, then it just comes down to working on the balance, and that's something that you can, once you're comfortably doing these, you can progress on to the unassisted variation if you want to. But in terms of building strong, flexible hip flexors, strengthening the knees, I much prefer this assisted variation. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please subscribe to our channel and let us know in the comments below what you would like us to cover in the next videos.